Welcome to my channel Limelight Leaks. Please share and subscribe and hit the bell icon for new updates. Chuck Connors' wife told everyone the truth. He had kept it secret for many years. Chuck Connors was born with the name Kevin Joseph Chuck Connors on April 10, 1921 in Brooklyn, New York. Connors' mom and dad came from Ireland and moved from Newfoundland. Growing up in a regular working neighborhood in Brooklyn taught him to work hard, never give up, and be proud. When he was young, he was really good at sports and could play many different games well. He went to Adelphi Academy, a fancy private school in Brooklyn, where everyone first noticed how good he was at sports. After he finished school there, he got a free ride to Seton Hall University in New Jersey because he was so good at sports. There he kept being amazing at both basketball and baseball. Chuck was super tall at 6 feet 6 inches, and because he was so big and good at sports, he was perfect for playing professionally. He played basketball for a little while with the Boston Celtics in something called the Basketball Association of America, which later became the NBA. He was one of the first athletes to show that sports players could do other jobs too. He also played baseball as a first baseman with the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs. This made him one of only a few people in history who played in both Major League Baseball and the NBA. Even though he didn't play professional sports for very long, it helped him become tough and competitive, which he used later when he became an actor. Connors' change from sports to acting happened by accident. After he stopped playing professional sports, he went to Hollywood where people noticed his rough good looks, his big strong body, and his natural charm. His first big role came in 1952 when he acted with Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn in a famous movie called Pat and Mike. His big break came a few years later when he appeared in Old Yeller in 1957, where he played the dog's sad owner, and South Sea Woman in 1953, where he played a Marine with Burt Lancaster. But in 1958, Connors got the role that would make him famous forever and put him in TV history books. He played Lucas McCain in a groundbreaking ABC Western TV show called The Rifleman. The show ran for 5 seasons from 1958 to 1963. In it, Connors played a man whose wife had died and who was raising his young son Mark, played by Johnny Crawford, in a frontier town called North Fork in New Mexico territory. The show was special not just because it had lots of action and clear right and wrong stories, but also because it showed a loving, good father-son relationship, which was rare for TV back then. Connors brought a special mix of being strong and gentle to Lucas McCain. He showed him as both someone who would protect his family fiercely and a kind teacher. The way he played this character really touched people all across America and helped make The Rifleman one of the most loved Western shows ever. This role made critics praise him and gave him tons of loyal fans. He even got into the Western Performers Hall of Fame. The Rifleman was a huge hit right away, ranking number 4 in the Nielsen ratings in 1958 to 1959, behind 3 other Westerns, Gunsmoke, Wagon Train, and Have Gun Will Travel. The Rifleman stayed high in the Nielsen ratings until the last season in 1962 to 1963, when it had to compete with the very popular return of Lucille Ball on The Lucy Show, and then ratings started to drop. The show was canceled in 1963 after 5 seasons and 168 episodes. While Connors will always be best remembered for The Rifleman, he acted in many more movies and TV shows than just that one role. Over the next 30 years, he appeared in lots of different films and television shows, showing how many different types of characters he could play. He starred in movies like Move Over Darling in 1963 with Doris Day and James Garner, Flipper in 1963, and the cult sci-fi classic Soylent Green in 1973 with Charlton Heston. Connors also starred in several TV series besides The Rifleman, including Branded from 1965 to 1966, where he played a U.S. Army officer who was wrongly accused of being a coward, and Cowboy in Africa from 1967 to 1968, which mixed Western and adventure themes. His tough independence and strong moral character made him perfect for these roles, and he always brought depth and humanity to every character he played. In 1983, he joined a group of famous actors that included Sam Elliott, Sybil Shepherd, Ken Curtis, and Noah Beery Jr. in the NBC drama The Yellow Rose. Even though the show didn't last long, it told an interesting story about a modern Texas ranching family trying to hold on to their legacy while times were changing. Connors' presence added depth and seriousness to the show. His commanding presence on screen was perfect for the background of big ranches and emotional family drama. Just 2 years later, in 1985, Connors came back to primetime TV in an important guest-starring role on the ABC crime drama, Spencer, for Hire, based on popular detective novels by Robert B. Parker. He appeared in the first episode as the mysterious and powerful King Powers, a role so impactful that it became a recurring part in the series. The show starred Robert Urich as the smart, tough-as-nails private investigator Spencer, with an S like the poet, and the unforgettable Avery Brooks as his intimidating partner Hawk. The show quickly got loyal fans. Connor's portrayal of Powers added danger and sophistication to the gritty Boston setting, making his reputation for playing complex authority figures even stronger. In 1987, Connors took a darker turn, co-starring in the cult favorite Fox horror series Werewolf. He played Janos Scorzani, a mysterious and scary drifter who had a terrifying secret. With his tall frame and intense way of speaking, Connors perfectly embodied the chilling menace of his character, captivating audiences and showing his range in the supernatural genre. The following year in 1988, he made another memorable guest appearance, this time on the CBS Western drama Paradise. In the episode, Connors played Gideon, a character whose presence stirred up intrigue and tension in a town policed by Lee Horsley's gunslinger-turned-lawman. This role, like so many others in his career, showed Connors' ability to slip easily into different worlds and time periods, whether on a modern ranch, the streets of Boston, or the dusty roads of the Old West. Chuck Connors was married 3 times during his life, and each of his marriages happened during different parts of his career as a professional athlete and successful actor. His relationships often started through his work, either on the baseball field or on movie sets, and they showed the exciting and often tough nature of life in the public eye. Connors' first marriage was to Elizabeth Jane Riddell Connors. The two met during one of Connors' baseball games when he was playing in the minor leagues, and they started dating as he continued his athletic career. Elizabeth, who was a devoted fan and later a supportive wife, became an important person in Connors' early life, standing by his side as he changed from a promising baseball and basketball career into the world of Hollywood. The couple married on October 1, 1948, when Connors was still figuring out his career as a professional athlete. Their marriage happened at the same time as his appearances in Major League Baseball with teams like the Brooklyn Dodgers and Chicago Cubs, as well as his short career in professional basketball with the Boston Celtics. During this time, the couple had 4 sons, Michael, Jeffrey, Stephen, and Kevin. Connors took being a father seriously, and despite his demanding career and being away a lot because of filming and travel, he was known to be deeply committed to his children. However, the pressures of being famous, along with the challenges of raising a family while having a growing Hollywood career, eventually put strain on the marriage. They later separated, though Connors stayed in contact with his sons throughout his life. Connors' second marriage came more than 10 years later during the height of his fame as an actor. In 1963, he married Indian-born actress Kamala Devi, whom he had met the year before on the set of the 1962 Western film Geronimo. In the movie, Connors played the legendary Apache leader, while Kamala Devi played an important Native American role. Their chemistry on screen turned into a real-life romance, and they got married not long after the film came out. Their relationship was unusual at the time because it was interracial, something that wasn't commonly accepted in the 1960s, but Connors didn't care about public opinion and remained proud of their marriage. The couple worked together on several television projects after their marriage, including the NBC series Branded from 1965 to 1966, in which Connors played Jason McCord, a dishonored Army officer. Kamala made several guest appearances on the show. They also co-starred in the TV movie Broken Saber and the adventure series Cowboy in Africa from 1967 to 1968, where Connors played the role of a rancher working on a game preserve in Kenya, and Kamala played an assistant and love interest. Despite their professional teamwork and shared on-screen presence, the marriage began to have problems in the early 1970s. After 10 years together, Connors and Devi divorced in 1973. Their separation was reportedly friendly, and Kamala Devi later spoke respectfully about her time with Connors, acknowledging the bond they had shared both on and off camera. His third and final marriage was to actress Faith Quabius, whom he met during the making of the dystopian science fiction film Soylent Green in 1973, a movie now considered a cult classic. In the film, Connors played the role of Tab Fielding, a bodyguard, while Quabius had a supporting role. Their time on set allowed them to get to know each other away from the crazy Hollywood spotlight, and their relationship developed quietly at first. They married in 1977, several years after their first meeting, during a time when Connors had mostly stepped back from leading roles, but continued to work steadily in television and made-for-TV films. The marriage to Quabius was relatively short, and they divorced in 1979 after just 2 years together. Though the reasons for their separation were never fully told to the public, both parties went their separate ways without public scandal or legal drama. Quabius later retired from acting, while Connors continued to make appearances in film and television throughout the 1980s and early 1990s. Despite the end of each marriage, Chuck Connors kept a reputation as a loyal friend and father. His children, especially his son Jeffrey, who sometimes went with him to public appearances, remained an important part of his life. Connors's romantic relationships often mirrored the changing times of his personal and professional development. Each wife was connected to a different chapter of his career, from sports to television westerns to science fiction movies. Though none of his marriages lasted forever, they all represented meaningful connections that influenced his journey both on and off the screen. The life and career of Chuck Connors, the tall actor best known for his famous role as Lucas McCain in The Rifleman, ended in a way that was both heartbreaking and full of secrets. Though loved by millions for his commanding presence on screen and rugged charm, few knew that behind his tough exterior was a man haunted by a deeply personal struggle, one he kept hidden even from those closest to him. His downfall was not caused by scandal, controversy, or professional failure, but rather by a tragic secret that he carried to his grave, a secret that ultimately cost him both his health and the woman he loved. Chuck Connors had lived much of his adult life with everyone watching him. From his early years as a professional athlete to his successful career in Hollywood, he was seen as a symbol of strength, masculinity, and toughness. But as he got older, his once bright career began to fade, and he pulled back more and more from the spotlight. What fans didn't realize was that Connors was not just stepping back because of age or changes in the industry. He was fighting a silent, devastating illness. When doctors told him he had lung cancer, Connors chose to keep his condition private, refusing to burden anyone, even his wife, with the scary reality of his declining health. Faith Quabius, the woman who stood by his side during the final chapter of his life, didn't know about the storm raging inside him. The two had met in the 1970s, eventually marrying in 1977. At the time, Faith was a talented actress in her own right, known for roles in films like Soylent Green. Their relationship, however, was never easy. Despite moments of warmth and deep connection, their marriage was marked by distance and emotional confusion, feelings Faith struggled to understand at the time. "We were married for 2 years and divorced soon after," Faith later revealed in an emotional interview. "At the time, I thought my husband no longer loved me. He had grown cold and distant. I believed he had simply fallen out of love." Her words showed the pain and confusion that followed the sudden collapse of their marriage. The man she had loved so deeply had seemingly pushed her away without explanation. It wasn't until years later, long after their divorce, that the truth finally came out. Connors had chosen to carry his suffering alone. His toughness, once celebrated as a sign of his masculinity, had tragically isolated him from those who could have offered love and support. Near the end of his life, as cancer destroyed his body, Connors was in the hospital in Los Angeles. Not a moment of clear thinking, knowing that death was coming soon, he asked for Faith. Despite the years and the pain of their separation, she came. As Faith sat at his bedside, she finally heard the words that had escaped her for so long. With difficult breathing, Chuck Connors confessed the truth he had hidden for decades. "I had cancer," he whispered. "Even then, when we were still together." Faith, stunned and overcome with emotion, realized the terrible weight of what he had carried in silence. In trying to protect her from the pain of watching him suffer, he had accidentally caused her deep pain and robbed them both of precious time they could have shared in love and understanding. That final revelation was both heartbreaking and healing. It showed their failed marriage in a new light, not as the result of emotional neglect or lack of interest, but as the collateral damage of a man too proud to ask for help. Connors died shortly after on November 10, 1992 at age 71. His legacy was marked by both professional achievement and personal tragedy. The truth Faith Quabius shared after his death shocked fans and friends alike. It revealed the human side of a Hollywood legend, a man whose silence, born of love and fear, cost him dearly. In the end, Chuck Connors was not defeated by illness alone, but by the very toughness that had defined his career. His life remains a sad reminder that even the strongest among us are not immune to vulnerability, and that sometimes the bravest thing one can do is to let others in. Chuck Connors, the versatile American actor and former professional athlete best known for his famous role as Lucas McCain in the beloved television series The Rifleman, passed away on November 10, 1992, after a battle with lung cancer. He died at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California, one of the nation's most famous hospitals, known for its complete cancer treatment and top level of care. Connors had been getting sicker in the final months of his life, with the effects of the disease becoming more and more obvious, especially because he had been a lifelong smoker, a habit that greatly contributed to his illness. His death marked the end of a diverse and legendary career that covered sports and entertainment, and it sent waves of sadness through generations of fans who had admired his rugged screen presence and commanding performances for decades. At the time of his death, Connors was 71 years old, and left behind a legacy that went far beyond Hollywood. He had also been a trailblazer in professional sports, having played both Major League Baseball with the Brooklyn Dodgers and Chicago Cubs, and professional basketball with the Boston Celtics before moving to acting. This rare dual career status had made him a unique figure in American popular culture, someone whose life story reflected the grit, ambition, and adaptability of the post-war American dream. Connors' passing was widely mourned in both the entertainment and sports worlds. Tributes poured in from colleagues, friends, and fans alike, many of whom remembered him not just for his acting talents, but for his generosity, charisma, and personal integrity. His portrayal of strong, morally upright characters, especially as the single father, Lucas McCain, resonated deeply with audiences during a time when television was becoming a central feature of American family life. The show's emphasis on honor, justice, and parental devotion helped cement his image as a quintessential American hero. Following his death, Connors was laid to rest at the San Fernando Mission Cemetery, located in Mission Hills, California. This cemetery is known for being the final resting place of many prominent figures in entertainment and public life. His gravesite, marked with a simple yet dignified headstone, quickly became a place of pilgrimage for fans of his work. Visitors to the site often leave flowers or small tokens of appreciation, a testament to the lasting impression Connors made through his film and television roles, as well as his contributions to sports and service as a cultural ambassador. Even decades after his death, Chuck Connors is remembered fondly not only for his towering stature and striking appearance, but for his enduring professionalism, versatility, and the sincere authenticity he brought to every role. His legacy continues to influence new generations of actors and athletes alike, and his name remains synonymous with a golden era of American television.